I'm Aria and welcome to another speed build. So today I am building on a 40 by 30 lot in Newcrest. I haven't built a house like this, a really big family home like this, for a really long time. Normally I don't build with gameplay in mind, but this one I actually did for a change. One of my families needed a bigger house, so I thought I would build them something, and this one just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and in the end it was much too large for the family that I had in mind for it, so I came up with a different family. And so this one is for 8 sims. I think I've actually put 9 sleeping spots in there, so like it can sleep 9 sims, but I actually only had 6 sims in mind for this family, plus their 2 pets. But I thought with the extra sleeping spaces, then if your sims wanted to have a sleepover, then there's plenty of space for them to sleep. The family that I had in mind for this one was 2 parents, a grandparent, a teen and 2 children, and then the pets I thought maybe a large dog and a cat, or maybe like 2 cats, 2 small dogs. I have put 1 large pet bed in here, so that's why I thought maybe a large dog, but to be honest the little ones sleep on the big beds anyway, so you can have any kind of pets in here. But I thought that it would be the mum, who is more of like maybe a business CEO or a lawyer. I was thinking lawyer, but that's kind of just how I've decorated the office. I thought that she probably inherited this house, or maybe this was her parents' house originally, and they moved in, and her dad has since passed away, but all of his like older things are still in the house. So all the things in his office, for example, she's basically just taken over the office. So some parts of the house are a little bit more modern than others, whereas if you look in the office you will see that it's just a little bit kind of older in style. There are some bits here and there that are a little bit older, and I wanted it to really look like it was a real mix of generations in this house, so that's kind of where I was going with it. But yeah, the mum, I thought probably a lawyer, and she's just taken over maybe like the family business or something, so it's quite cluttered in there, and I wanted it to look like she was in the middle of sorting things out. The dad I thought was probably a stay-at-home dad. The garage, I've put quite a lot of skill building things in, so I was thinking maybe he did woodworking. I think if we had a mechanic career or hobby in the game, then that would probably be something that he did, but I've put the woodworking table in there with a couple of other bits and pieces, so I thought that's probably more where he is. And the Nan, I thought, I wasn't really sure whether it would be the mum or dad's mum. I was thinking probably more the mum's mum, because of my idea with the dad with her dad, and it being like the family business that she's taken over, or family home sort of thing. So the Nan, I kind of thought it's probably very stereotypical, somebody who likes to do knitting and crocheting, and I've put a little gardening patch out in the back garden that I thought would probably be something that she would be into as well. And then for the children, I thought there would be 1 teen, and they would be really into video gaming. So I have made the whole of like the very top floor, there's 3 floors to this house, the very top floor is all theirs, so they get like their own bathroom and a massive bedroom. And I thought, yeah, they were probably into video gaming, and maybe it was like in sports gaming, and they've got like a couple of trophies and things up there, so I thought that would be really fun. I really like the way that I've done their bedroom, so you'll see that a little bit near the end, how I've done their like built-in system around the bed. I really like that. And then for the children, I thought there's probably 2 children, but I wasn't really sure whether like how far into their child life stage they would be, so I thought maybe one of them would be like well into it, like in the middle, and then the other one would be only just aged up, because I have a toddler room in this house, but I didn't have a toddler in mind. So I thought maybe this child has only just aged up, so the toddler room is still there, it's still fully furnished and decorated. So maybe if the couple wanted to have another baby, then the toddler room is all fully set up, but if not, then you know, that child has only just aged up. So that's kind of how I was explaining away that. And yeah, the two child rooms that I have decorated, one is very pink, and I've tried to include quite a lot of what I consider like the ballet items, because I thought, you know, maybe this child really likes dancing and that's what they want to do, maybe as a hobby or something. I don't know whether I would maybe put the idea of a child knowing exactly what they want to do on them, you know, when they're an adult already, but I thought, you know, that's kind of what they're interested in at the moment. And then the other child, I have decorated their room very dark blue and spacey, and I had a girl in mind for this, but I mean, you can have whoever you want in this room, but I imagined that they really looked up to like a, I don't know, in the sim world, a particular astronaut, and really wanted to be like her when they grew up. So that's kind of what I had in mind for that. So yeah, I don't usually come up with detailed storylines for the Sims that I build houses for. Generally, because I build very fantasy inspired things, I don't have a backstory, but because this one I have cluttered and put so much detail into, way more than I feel I normally do, I felt like I needed to have some kind of storyline in mind, especially considering The Office, when you see it in just a second, there's quite a lot, I feel there's quite a lot of personal touches in there. So I hope you like the story. I think this is probably the longest, if not one of the longest videos that I've ever done. There are so many things that I wanted to include in this video that I had to cut out, unfortunately. When I was first editing it, when I had cut out all of like the pauses and the little bits and pieces that I didn't need, the footage was about an hour and 10 minutes long of the things that I wanted to keep in. So I have cut quite a lot out to get it down to, I don't know what it is at the moment, like 36 minutes or something, including screenshots, so it's probably like 35 minutes. But yeah, it's pretty long, so I have tried to include as many chapters as I can. So if you want to look at a particular part of the build, maybe just the screenshots for example, then you should be able to just jump right to them. But yeah, I can't believe that it literally took me so long to do this. Usually I take, you know, between 4 and 6 hours to do a build. This one, the raw footage was 12.5 hours, I think, and that's not including all of like my decision making in between times. So it's probably more like 14 hours, and I am really pleased with how it turned out, even though it is absolutely massive. And at this point in time I have no plans of playing in it myself, but it is fully play tested and fully functional, even with all the clutter, which I'm really pleased about. So if you would like to download it, it's on the gallery under my ID AriaFaeYT, as with all of my builds. And yeah, just make sure that you have move objects on, because I did place quite a lot of clutter, as you can probably already tell just from the kitchen. And it pretty much continues throughout the house like that. There are a couple of bathrooms that I haven't included too much clutter in, because I kind of didn't see the point. They were very tiny, so I didn't want to like clutter them too much, because then I thought you wouldn't be able to actually use them. So there are 6 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. There is only one ensuite bathroom, and that is in the Nan's room. So to be honest, that bathroom, her little ensuite bathroom, is just a 4-tile box. It's so tiny. But because I had built everything into the roof, it was really hard to try and get everything to work properly and it still look right on the outside. So her little bathroom is yeah, it's very small. She does have like a shower and everything in there, so it's fully functional, but it's just not very detailed. The other bathrooms, there's one main bathroom, there's a little bathroom downstairs, there's a bathroom on the very top floor, and then on the second floor where their main bathroom is, there is also 2 smaller bathrooms. So they're not very big, they're not very detailed, but the last thing that you want is for your Sims to die of embarrassment. So I thought it was probably best to include as many bathrooms as possible, especially if you're playing with a full household. So the artwork that I have used in this build is all in-game artwork. It's all things that your Sims can paint in the game. I did download a big room of everything off the gallery. I don't remember off the top of my head who the creator is, but I will put a link to it in the description from the gallery if I can find it again. But my idea with that was that even though the mum is, you know, this big successful lawyer and everything, she also likes to paint in her like downtime. And I thought she's probably a really good artist, like really creative person, and so she creates all of these big artwork pieces and then likes to display them around her house. Some of these pieces I've seen quite often before, and then there are other pieces that I haven't really seen that much, if at all, so I thought it was really interesting to see kind of what you can get in the game without having to resort to CC. So yeah, I really like them, they are really cool. So I have included quite a lot of these little, I don't know whether you would call them custom pieces, because I wouldn't really go that far, but things like the teacups on the table and the little candle jars and things. I've done it again in the dining room, which unfortunately I did have to cut out, but I have included a lot of screenshots at the end. I think there's like 3 minutes of screenshots, so there is quite a lot of them for you to have a look through, but I thought it was nice just to add that little bit of extra lived in detail, if that makes sense. So, you know, there's teacups out on the side, and in the kitchen I have rotated one of the wall markings from, I think, Strangerville. Is it Strangerville or Vampires? I don't remember, but I have rotated it onto its side so that it can lay on the top of the counter. I wanted it to look dirty without my Sims constantly clearing it up. So this is a little upright piano that I found on the gallery by Pug Owned. So most of you probably know her for creating pets, but she also creates custom furniture with the tool mod, which I think is amazing. I tried to do it myself and failed miserably. So after about an hour I ended up just downloading one that was already built, and this one was perfect. This is one of those older pieces I mentioned earlier that I wanted it to look like there was a couple of older pieces of furniture or older things in the house whilst it was still looking very modern and suburban, I guess. So in here is the office. I end up changing those bookcases out to like a built-in bar unit. It's not functional, unfortunately, but I think it looks really cool. And I have included the little globe bar, I think, that we got with Vintage Glamour, so that is also in the corner right next to it. So there is several bars actually in this house. I have also put one in the dining room. I cut the whole dining room out, sorry. It's not really that interesting, it's literally just a dining room. But you will see the screenshots if you are interested. But I really like this room. I thought it was really interesting to see kind of the combination of the different generations in this one, especially considering like this is probably my Sim's dad's office, not home. Yeah, it is his home, but this is his office. You know, all of his things are still in here, and she's in the process of trying to sort it out and make some kind of sense of it and, you know, go forward from there. So she's still working in the family business, she is still a lawyer, but, you know, she kind of just has to sort through all of her dad's bits and pieces. So there is quite a lot of clutter in here. Some of the furniture is a little bit mismatched, but I still think it looks really nice. I really like it in here. So like I said earlier, everything is play tested. However, because I have shoved so much stuff on that desk, I couldn't get my Sims to use the computer without having to get them to sit down first. So they can still use it, you just have to get them to sit down first, which is kind of annoying. But it does prevent your Sims from randomly just using the PC, which I really like, because otherwise my Sims literally just spend all of their downtime just playing games on the PC, which, I mean, I know a lot of us probably do that and it is quite realistic, but in the game it's kind of annoying. So I do quite like that they don't do it automatically. You have to make them sit down first. So this is the little bar area that I mentioned. I've used the bar back, or I don't know, I think that's what it's called, from Strangerville, and I really liked the different kind of clutter pieces that were already on this, but I really don't like that icebox. It just didn't fit with what I wanted at all, so I covered it up using one of the base game bars and a couple of these counters. Unfortunately, it's not functional because it's facing the wrong way, but I thought it was really nice as just like a little decorative piece. I've put some glasses, some bottles, and this chopping board. I've put a couple of these lemons, and I found some lime wedges, which I thought are really cool too. And I've put a little knife on there because I thought it just looked like somebody was cutting up some garnish for their drinks. And I've put the ice. I don't know why I did this. I was looking for a bowl. I couldn't find a bowl that I liked that kind of had the older feel to it. So I ended up using this little way thingy from, I think it's from Realm of Magic, and I just thought it looked really cool just to hold the ice. And I thought, you know, it's probably just something that is a bit quirky. It doesn't make too much sense, but it looks good, so that's why I included it. I downloaded a little room, I think Simlessly uploaded it, of a bunch of kitchen clutter that doesn't spoil. So the glasses that I've used in the kitchen and the mugs that I have used as like the little teacups, they don't spoil. I'm not sure what makes them different to any of the other mugs, but yeah, they don't spoil, which I really like. So they won't go smelly and you won't have weird green lines coming off of them. So I think that's really cool. I've also used the plates, you might have seen me do it, from the paranormal, is it from the paranormal stuff? No, the paranormal plates from the Snowy Escape pack. I always get confused between these two. I don't know why, they're nothing alike. And I have lowered them down so that they look, you can only see like the top bit, so it looks like a little teacup. So I think that's really cool. A little teacup, a little saucer. So in here is the garage. I have also included a laundry room off to the left, which you can kind of see. But in here there is the woodworking table, there is the artist's kind of easel with a little station. I have put a bunch of things that I think are garage clutter, things that you would probably have in an attic, but since they have built up into the attic in this house, everything has been, you know, shoved into the garage. I probably would have liked to include a like a garden shed or something for some of these things, but this lot wasn't big enough and I went way overboard on what I was originally planning to do. So yeah, everything's kind of shoved in here. I've put one of the little I think it's debug or live edit cars from the Strangerville pack in here, which was my idea when I said that if we had like a mechanic job or hobby in the game, then that would be what the dad would do. So I thought this is probably more like a little workshop. I've left those shelves completely empty because I like to use them to put my collectibles on. So I put like my frogs and things like that on. And then next to the easel I have put the little elements collection stand. I really wish that we had a different option for that because it's just, I don't know, I don't really like it, and I feel like we just need just one more style that's just slightly different, maybe like a wall hanging one. And I know that there are CC options, but I don't want to see the option. I want an in-game option, you know. So anyway, on here above the woodworking table, I've rotated all of these little debug things with the tool mod and then placed them against the cork board to make it look like a little, I don't know, tool display thing. And I've put some of these upgrade parts on here just to fill in the gap too. And I really like the way that this turned out. It's a little bit different and it just makes for a nice, you know, like wall decoration. Moving on upstairs, I took out all of the items that I wanted just to try and save a little bit of time. So you can see like the room next door has got like a whole bunch of stuff in it. But anyway, this is the toddler room. I really struggled with the layout of this because it's so long and narrow and just a very strange shape, but that's just kind of what you have to work with, I guess, when you have you know, when you're trying to build into the roof. So in here, like I said, it's a toddler room and it's very bright and colorful. I wanted it to have lots of like primary colors and things in here because I thought maybe this is the room that all of the children have grown up in, so I didn't want it to be like very girly or anything. I wanted it to you know, be very gender neutral. Most of my gender neutral toddler rooms I feel are very beige and boring, and you know, kids like bright colored stuff, so I wanted to make it, you know, nice and fun and bright. And yeah, that's kind of the idea that I had, that all of the kids went through this room at some point, and it's also available for any future children. You don't really need to change the decorations or anything too much. So in here, this is the room that I imagine would be for a dancer. I've put a couple of things that we had. Obviously we don't have like ballet or anything in the game, but this little cat growth chart I think is from my first pet stuff, and I really like it. I know there's mixed opinions on my first pet stuff, but for some of the decorative items that aren't really pet related, they're more like kid related, and I really like them, so I do like to include them. But I haven't included too many things from that pack. I have obviously put like the small pet cages and things in, but if you don't have that pack, there's probably only like three or four things that, you know, won't show up. That being said, I have pretty much used every single pack except for the ones that I don't own. So there's I haven't used the Batu pack because that wasn't really necessary to use in this one, and the ones that I don't own are the fitness stuff pack and the backyard stuff and the party one. I don't remember what it's called. Not the vintage glamour one, I've got that, it's the other one, the party one that's got like the chocolate fountain or something in it. I don't have that one, so just assume that every other pack that I haven't mentioned I've used, because I probably have. I didn't hold back on this one, but yeah, I really like the way that this room turned out. It's very much what I would have liked as a child. I mean, now I think I'd prefer this room now. I wouldn't like the pink one now, but you know, as a small child of like 8 or 9, I probably would have really liked the pink room. So in here is the other child's room. This child, I had a girl in mind, but I mean, you can have whoever you want, and I thought this one is probably the child that is maybe halfway through the life stage, maybe nearer aging up into a teen. But I thought, yeah, it's something that they're not very girly, if that makes sense. Like, they're just more interested in science and space, and they look up to that particular Sims astronaut that I mentioned earlier that I don't know who that is. It was just an idea that I had in mind. But I've put the science table from Snowy Escape in here, as well as a couple of other bits and pieces that I thought were very interesting and kind of followed along that same like spacey, you know, idea. But for the skills, I forgot to mention, I have included every single skill building item, I think, for toddlers and children. So any kind of skill that they want to work on, they can in this house. And the same with the adults, or like the teens to elders. I'm pretty sure I have included as many as I possibly can. Things like the organ I haven't included, and then like microscopes and the telescope, it's way too big, could not include that. But pretty much everything else, you know, like logic and gardening, flower arranging, woodworking, painting, piano, guitar, I think I've included the scouts board for the kids and a violin for the kids too. So there's pretty much everything in this house that if you wanted to do any kind of skill building, is there. You know, I've tried to include it. You might not see it in the video or the screenshot, so I probably went back and added other things. But yeah, it's definitely all there. So this is what I imagine to be the teens room, and they are a gamer, or like a sports gamer specifically. So you can see all of their little trophies that I've put on here. And I really like I said earlier, I really like the built-in behind the bed and the big poster. It's really bright and colourful compared to the rest of the room that is very kind of neutral colored. I really like that pop of color. I also wanted to add the red chair and the red computer. I don't know why, but I just liked them, so I wanted to make sure that I included those. I've also put one of the gaming stations from City Living. I think I've used the City Living one. I might have used the base game one actually for the TV, so they have multiple options for gaming. Just the computer, but they also have the TV too. So yeah, these little void critter things that I put up here, I eventually put them up on this board, and in my mind they look like Pokemon cards. So I wanted them to be on display, you know, like they were in those big plastic, I don't remember what they're called, but my partner has them. They're like graded really well, and like some of them are really, really expensive. So that's kind of what I had in mind for those collectible things that, you know, you're not really going to do anything with, but they're worth a lot of money, so they just sit on your shelf forever. Especially things like Pokemon cards. I know they've been around for forever, so yeah, worth a lot of money. Anyway, moving on to the landscaping, I kind of tried to make it look as organic as possible, but I wanted it to still be enclosed in the back garden, so I haven't used any fencing, like any traditional way of fencing. I fenced it in using bushes basically. So as you will see, I try and include a couple of like bird's eye view shots so you can kind of see them a little bit better, or see the garden a little bit better, but it's not all the same shape. It kind of curves in certain places, and I thought it looked a little bit more natural because, you know, we can't really go very far off of this lot before the footprint tells you can't put it there. So I wanted to make sure that it looked, you know, as natural as I possibly could. So this little triangle section here is where I put the gardening plots. There is also a chicken coop, a beehive, and Patchy is in there too. And I've also included a swimming pool out in the main area, a swing set, and a bunch of other kids' toys. There is a washing line that I've also put in here too, because of the laundry room. I have put a tumble dryer in the laundry, but I wanted there to be an option for, you know, hanging out, washing and things. I wasn't entirely sure because I couldn't remember, and it didn't say in the description for the swing set whether it built motor skill or not, but I did ask Discord and they told me that it did, so I'm hoping that it does. If not, you might have to change it out for a jungle gym. So I'm hoping that the swing set will build motor skill, because then adults can use it too and you can use it for fun. So hopefully it does. I don't include the landscaping of the front of the house because it is exactly the same as the back of the house. All of the plants that I've used are exactly the same. and I've basically just done what you can see here, so hopefully that's okay. You don't mind too much, but I have play tested it. Everything does work. The bushes that I've used here have got such a small footprint on them that I have managed to hide them all under the bigger bushes, so even though they are touching some of the other objects, you can still use them, so hopefully that's okay. I did have a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out how to fill in this massive gap in the middle, and so I put some more landscaping in here just to kind of make a little flower bed, but in the end I think I put a chess table. It might not be in the screenshots, but it is there if you download it. And I've included, like I said, as many things as I possibly can. I've put the toddler slide on here. There's a dollhouse. What else did I put on there? I think the activity table, the kids activity table, and then a bunch of like little toys, because there isn't a like a toy chest downstairs. Actually, yeah, I think there are 2 upstairs, maybe 3. I think I've put one in the toddler room, so I can't control your Sims putting them away. But they are definitely there if you need your kids to play outside. I have also actually put the little trolley thing from the toddler pack out there, so if your kids get hungry they can just grab some yogurt out of the little trailer, because the last thing that I need is my kids taking 2 hours to get up the stairs, because this is such a huge house. Probably not good for like 100 baby challenge or anything, because your kids will take forever to get down the stairs to get to school. So hopefully it'll be fine. You'll just have to get them up early. So the last thing that I do is add some ivy to the house. Like I said, I wanted it to look like it was it'd been in the family for a while. I also pull this car back so you can use that mural. But anyway, we are coming to the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. Please let me know what you think. You can find it on the gallery under my ID AriaFaeYT, and I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.
There's no place I'd rather be.